everyone, how are you today? Welcome back to English with Alex and Em.
My name is Alex.
And my name is Emily. And today's lesson is from the 7th grade textbook, Module 2, Unit 6, Same or Different. And if you want to follow along in the textbook, it's on page 84. So today's topic is comparative and superlative adjectives. First off, you might be wondering, what is an adjective? An adjective is a descriptive word. So for example, in this picture, if I want to describe Alex, I can say Alex is tall. And tall is the adjective. If I want to describe myself, I can say I am short. And short is the adjective. So today's fundamental question is going to be, how do we compare things? And that can mean, how do we compare two different things, or how do we compare one thing to the rest of its group? Today's first exercise is activity 8 in the textbook. This is today's main grammar point. So first we're going to read the example sentences. Apples are tastier than oranges. So in this sentence, the first thing I notice is that it has two different fruits, apples and oranges. Also, it has the word than, and then the adjective is tasty, and it's made into a comparative adjective by adding er. Okay, the second sentence, math is more difficult than English. So this sentence also has two different school subjects, math and English. We also see the word than again, like the first sentence, but the adjective difficult doesn't have an er, it has more in front of it. Okay, next, today is the longest day of the year. So in this sentence, we have the subject today, and we have the adjective long with an est. Next, Sheila is the youngest girl in the family. So we have Sheila as the subject, and then the adjective young with est. So these two are superlative sentences. Okay, so now you can pause the video and try to do the questions 1 through 4 on your own. So for number 1, we use the form blank to compare two people or things. So we can look at the example sentences and see that these two, the first two, are comparative sentences, and the first one uses adjective er plus than. Okay, so for number 2, we use the endings er or est for shorter adjectives. So for example, in the first sentence, tasty has 2 syllables. So, tasty, and that's a relatively short adjective. There are some exceptions to this rule, but it's going to change to tastier. So we have a y to I change, and then we added er. But in the second sentence, the adjective is difficult. difficult. So that's going to be 3 syllables. And because that's a longer adjective, we're going to use more. Okay, so number 3, we use the form blank to compare one person or thing to a group of people or objects. So for this one, we're going to need the superlative structure. So that's be. The plus adjective with an addition of est and a preposition of or in. So we can see in the third sentence, today is the longest day of the year. And Sheila is the youngest girl in the family. However, we also need to use most sometimes if the adjective is longer. So these structures in 1 and 3, they are used for the shorter adjectives, and then when we have adjectives with 3 or more syllables, we need to add a more or most instead of er or est.
All right. So now what we want to do is move to exercise 9. And we have some examples. So we're going to practice doing different forms of these comparatives, or doing the comparative and superlative forms of these adjectives. So what you can do now is pause the video and try to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so now we are going to do those together. So we'll zoom in a little bit here. Our first one is fast. And because this is only 1 syllable, fast, we can say faster for our comparative form, and then fastest for our superlative form. For our second problem, we have the word heavy. So like Emily said before, if it has the Y, sometimes that Y is going to change to an I. So Y to I. So our comparative form is going to be heavier. Change that Y. And then our superlative form will be heaviest. Okay. Our next word, number 3, is dangerous. So dangerous, has 3 syllables. Dangerous. So since it has 3, what we need to do is say more dangerous for our comparative. And then for our superlative form, we're going to say most dangerous. So because it is a long word, we do not use ER or EST. Instead, we use more and most. Okay, small. Small is only 1 syllable. So this one's a little easier. Smaller. And smallest. Large. This one's also only 1 syllable. Large. So we'll say larger and largest. Okay. And then for number 6, we have long. This one's only one syllable. So we'll have longer and longest. And then interesting. Let's count that one out. Interesting. So interesting. So this one has 4 syllables. So because it has 4 syllables, we are going to use more interesting. It is a long word. And most interesting. Okay. And then for number 8, we have cold. This is a short word. So we will use ER, colder, coldest. Nice. This is also only one syllable. So we have nicer and nicest. And then our last one, we have expensive. Let's count that one out together. Expensive. Expensive. So this one has 3 syllables. So that means we have to use more expensive. And most expensive. So now you can check your answers.
Okay, so the next activity is exercise 10 in the book. And in this activity, we are going to decide whether the sentence needs a comparative or superlative form of the adjective. So in the example, Max is blank John with the adjective old. We have 2 people, Max and John. So we know that it's a comparative sentence, and old is a short adjective. It has 1 syllable. So we need to add an ER, and because we're comparing 2 things, we also need than. So Max is older than John. So now you can pause the video and try to complete numbers 1 through 10 on your own. Okay, let's look at numbers 1 through 10. So the first one, I am blank my sister. We have I and my sister. So those are 2 different people. So we are comparing 2 things, 2 people. And the adjective is tall. It's a short adjective. So we can say I am taller than my sister. Next, he is blank man in town. So he and man are referring to the same thing. They are referring to the same person. And we also have the prepositional phrase in town, in the whole town. So this is going to be a superlative sentence. And since rich is a short adjective, we're going to add est. So he is the richest man in town. Okay, number 3. Mount Everest is blank mountain in the world. So we have Mount Everest and mountain. So those mean the same thing. Mount Everest is a mountain. And we have the prepositional phrase in the world, in all of the world. So this is a superlative sentence. And because high is a short adjective, we can say Mount Everest is the highest. mountain in the world. Okay, number 4. Bicycles are blank cars. So in this sentence we have bicycles and cars. Those are two different things. So we know that this is a comparative sentence, and because slow is a short adjective, we can say bicycles are slower than cars. Number 5, computers are blank mobile phones. So we have computers and mobile phones. And those are two different things. So we know that this is a comparative sentence. Yes, so over here in this photo, we have mobile phones and computers. Those are different. But because expensive is a longer adjective, expensive, we have to use more in front of it. So computers are more expensive than. Okay, number 6. Jack is blank boy in his class. So Jack is a boy. Jack and boy have the same referent. And in his class is a prepositional phrase. So in his class, in his entire class, Jack is the shortest boy. This is a superlative sentence. And because short is a short adjective, we can add est to the end. Okay, number 7, his car is blank your car. His car and your car are two different cars. Two different cars. So this is a comparative sentence. But because comfortable is a longer adjective, we have to add more in front. So his car is more comfortable than your car. Number 8, London is blank city in England. So London is a city in England. London and city refer to the same thing. And we have the prepositional phrase in England, in the entire country. So, because this is a superlative sentence, we can say London is the biggest city in England. And this one has a double G. And because big is a short adjective, we add est at the end. Okay, number 9. What is blank river in your country? So in this one is a question, but we can still see that it has that prepositional phrase, in your country. So it's asking in the entire country. So that's a superlative question. What is the longest river in your country. And finally, number 10, your question is blank mine. So your question and mine, those are two different questions. So we're going to use a comparative form of the adjective difficult. Difficult. So it's a longer adjective. So we need to say more difficult. Than mine. So we hope you enjoyed this lesson today. Please leave any questions in the comments below and we will try to answer them. And we'll see you next time.